sentence you to life in confinement without parole.
That's f***ing horse shit. You do whatever the f*** you want.
Why are they shutting my mic off?
I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some goddamn respect, you. All I did was trespass on property.
Ma'am, you gotta create the community that you want to live in.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
I think it was.
Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, good morning, Osceola.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Please announce your name for the record.
Of course, Richard Mendoza, on behalf of the Office of the Public Defender.
Dwayne Hunter for the state of Florida.
Okay, are we ready to get started?
Yes, ma'am. Ready to go when you are.
All right, Alex Chisholm, please come forward. All right, good morning, Alex. How are you doing?
Good morning, how are you?
Okay, you've been charged with battery, a misdemeanor of the first degree. I am appointing the public defender's office temporarily for you at this time. I'm finding probable cause and I'm setting a bond for $500 on your battery, okay? There's to be no contact with the victim, no return to the scene. And Mr. Public Defender, would you like to say anything?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Okay. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Robert Christenberry.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. Could be better.
Okay, you've been charged with DWLS with knowledge, a first-degree misdemeanor, and failing to register a motor vehicle. I am temporarily appointing the public defender's office for you at this time. I'm finding probable cause for your arrest, and I'm setting bond at $500 for the DWLS and $250 for failing to register.
Your Honor, I did have one quick thing to say. Would the court consider reducing count 1 to $250?
It is at, I'm sorry, count 1 to $250.
Yes, Your Honor, that's the defense's request.
Yes, I'll do that, $250 and $250.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. No driving without a valid driver's license. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Christian Hamilton.
Your Honor, I'm asking the court if we could reset this. The correctional facility had mentioned self-harm, so if we could reset this for 24 hours.
Okay, we'll roll it till tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have Mr. Lebron Rivera.
Judge, did you did you skip Laredo? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, Lebron Rivera.
All right, Lebron Rivera. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Okay, looks like we have 3 separate cases here, and we have an underlying as well. You are out on bond on an Osceola case of 2021 fleeing and eluding. I'm going to go ahead and appoint the Public Defender's Office temporarily for you at this time. While out on bond, you picked up another fleeing and eluding, another driving while your license was suspended. You also picked up a second-degree felony, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting without violence. And another fleeing and eluding, reckless driving, DWLS, and another fleeing and eluding. So, looks like we have a problem with fleeing and eluding, Mr. LeBron. I'm going to go ahead and revoke your bond on your underlying case, which is the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, case 21, CF 3736. Your bond is going to be revoked. Setting at none. Yes, setting at none. I am setting bond on the other cases. So, under, which one's easier for me to reference? Booking number?
Which case do you want?
Because we have
one should have a case number, the warrant. I think it's 22 CF 128. Should have.
Okay, that one. The third degree felony, fleeing and eluding, will have a $1,500 bond, and the driving while license was suspended, $150 bond.
The next few cases don't have case numbers, so if you could just list it by the
Okay. Okay.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I know there's multiple cases here. Did you just set 1,500 on the fleeing and eluding? Is that the 22 CF 1289 case?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said 1,500, and then you're going to reduce the Dwillis to 150?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, now we're on the same page.
And now we're on the next ones. And these all have conditions of no driving without a valid driver's
Of course.
license. All right, so the next one is the possession of cocaine, drug paraphernalia, resisting without violence. Possession of cocaine will be reduced to $2,500, and the 2 misdemeanors will remain at $500 each, which is drug paraphernalia and resisting without violence. I do find probable cause for the arrest. I'm temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office. The next case, the fleeing and eluding, the reckless driving, and the Dwillis. On the fleeing and eluding, I'm setting a $2,500 bond. The reckless will remain at $500, and the Dwillis will remain at $500. I find PC for this arrest, and I'm temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office. There's to be no driving without a valid driver's license. And the last, fleeing and eluding, I am finding probable cause. I'm temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office, and I'm setting bond for that one at $2,500. There's to be no driving without a valid driver's license. His bond is revoked on the underlying case, the Osceola case, okay?
Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you. Paulina Lee. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you've been charged with battery, touch, or strike. I'm temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office on your case. I'm finding probable cause for your arrest, and I'm setting bond at $500.
Your Honor, can I be heard as far as conditions on this case
Yes.
and also bond? Your Honor, I spoke to pretrial release. They confirmed that they spoke to the alleged victim in this case. They would like to have no hostile contact, and they're allowing her to return to the residence or to the scene of where this occurred. Therefore, I'm asking the court to set the bond at $250, no hostile contact, and do not place the no return order.
All right, I see that as well.
And Your Honor, Pat Hill, on behalf of PTR, for the record, Ms. Lee Colazo has no prior arrest.
Okay, thank you. And she is eligible for PTR with a bond, correct?
Correct.
Would you like that, PTR 250 plus 250, or would you like a straight 500?
Me? 250.
All right, what I'm gonna do,
I'm sorry, I don't know if you heard. Maybe I interrupted, and I apologize. She said 250 with PTR is what she would like.
okay, that's what I'll do. I'll issue a bond for 250 with PTR. And ma'am, you are not to have any hostile contact with the alleged victim, and you may return home.
Thank you, Judge.
Julio Morales Santiago. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing yourself?
Good, thank you. Sir, you've been charged with battery, simple touch or strike, and hindering communications to law enforcement officer. I am temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office on your case for you. And I'm setting a bond on the battery for $500 and the hindering communications for $150. I do find probable cause for your arrest. He is eligible for PTR with bond, so if you prefer the $250 with PTR, please let me know.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, we would ask that from the court. I spoke to pretrial release on this case. The language was a barrier. I don't know if Your Honor would entertain no hostile contact at this time and allow him to return. That's all I have for the court, Your Honor.
Yes, Your
PTR,
Honor, I did not have a Spanish-speaking officer to speak with her this morning, so I'm not sure of what her request would be.
okay.
And I don't believe he has any prior history, Your Honor.
That's correct.
All right, I'm going to do $250 with PTR. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene unless the division judge can change that.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. And then we'll remain count two at 150, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
PTR adds to both counts?
Mm-hmm. Kelly Rodriguez.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you, ma'am. You are out on an Osceola case, 2022-206, a fleeing and eluding with Judge Young presiding, and you picked up a resisting without violence. I do find probable cause on the resisting without violence. I'm temporarily appointing the Public Defender's Office for you at this time. I'm issuing a bond of $500 on the resisting, and I'm revoking the bond on your Osceola case 206.
Judge, can we confirm that she's out on bond or out on PTR?
Is she out on PTR or out on bond?
It was direct, non-monetary PTR.
All right, I'm revoking PTR. Anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Henry Rodriguez Mendez.
And he requires an interpreter. Also,
Okay, we'll roll it.
Earlier you had skipped Flavia Laurido. She also requires an interpreter.
Okay, we will circle back around, put them at the back.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Smith Major.
morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Could be better.
All right, sir. You've been charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, battery, touch, or strike, resisting without violence, child neglect without great bodily harm, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, ag assault with a deadly weapon, and battery. I'm temporarily appointing the public defender's office, and I'm finding probable cause for your arrest at this time. Bond will be set. He is eligible for PTR with a bond.
Your Honor, due to the nature of the charge of the child neglect, he does not qualify for the bond with PTR.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, on the ag assault with deadly weapon, I'm setting a bond of $2,500. On the misdemeanor battery, $500. On the resisting arrest without violence, $150. On the child neglect, $1,500. On the possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, $4,000. On the ag assault with deadly weapon, $2,500. On the ag assault with deadly weapon, $2,500. And on the battery, touch or strike, $500.
Your Honor, could we be heard on the bond amounts?
Yes, go ahead.
Your Honor, with regards to the aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, would you consider reducing those to 2,000? So it'd be 2,500 down to 2,000, and then I believe there was a total of 3 of those.
All right, I'll reduce all of those down to 2,000.
Thank you, Judge. And then, of course, any conditions that the court sees fit.
Yes. No victim contact, no return to the scene, no firearms, no weapons, no contact for the baby as well.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Cristomo?
Your Honor, with regards to Aurelis Cristomo, the correctional facilities wanted to ask for a reset due to behavior. However, based upon the fact that this is an Orange County, out-of-county warrant, I would ask to waive his appearance and have his IA handled today.
Okay. What? No? Okay. All right, I am going to go ahead and waive the defendant's appearance and temporarily appoint the public defender's office on this case. I do find probable cause for his out-of-county warrant out of Orange County, and we will go ahead and set a bond for $4,000 and $1,000, respectfully.
Thank you, Judge.
He will be transferred.
Thank you.
All right, Spanish interpreter. We need to call? Yes. All right, adding the interpreter.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Good morning. How are you doing, ma'am?
Fine, and you?
Very good, thank you. All right. You've been previously sworn. We have...
Your Honor, I'm so sorry. I'm just used to saying that, but I have not been sworn today.
Okay. All right. Please raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from English to Spanish, from Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do. Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am. We have Flavia Laurido. Flavia Laurido, please come forward.
Flavia Laurido, por favor, acérquese.
Good morning, ma'am.
Buenos días, señora. Buenos días.
Ma'am, you've been charged with battery, touch, or strike, a misdemeanor of the first degree. I am finding probable cause and temporarily appointing the public defender's office for you.
Señor, usted se le acusa de agresión física, toque o golpe. Determino que existen indicios de criminalidad para su arresto y estoy designando a la oficina del abogado de oficio para que le represente provisionalmente.
I'm setting a bond at $500.
La fianza se fija en $500.
Your Honor, this defendant does qualify for bond with PTR.
Okay.
Su señoría, esta acusada cumple con los requisitos para que se le conceda fianza con el programa de libertad provisional.
And Your Honor, defense would ask that it be $250 plus PTR along with the conditions you feel necessary.
All right, I'll do
Y-
250.
Su señoría, la defensa solicita que se le conceda una fianza de $250 más el programa de libertad provisional y las condiciones que usted considere razonables. Muy bien, entonces 250.
All right, I'll do 250 plus PTR with no victim contact, no return to the scene, and one-time return with law enforcement.
Muy bien, así que entonces $250 de fianza con el programa de libertad provisional. Se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con la víctima, se le prohíbe regresar a la escena del ilícito y se le permitirá regresar en una ocasión acompañada de las autoridades para recoger sus pertenencias.
Thank you, Judge.
Gracias, su señoría.
And next up, we have Henry Rodriguez Mendez.
Your Honor, as he is approaching the microphone, I would ask to waive the reading of the charges.
Will do.
Thank you.
Su señoría, mientras él se acerca al micrófono, estoy solicitando que no se lea la acusación. Se concede.
Good morning, sir.
Buenos días, señor.
Sir,
Good morning.
you've been charged with, it's being waived. I'm not going to read it, but I am going to tell you that you have a possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia in an underlying case 2019 CF 2383, in which bond has been set and you picked up 2 new cases. I'm finding probable cause, put temporarily appointing the public defender's office for you. I will set bond on the first charge, $5,000, and bond on the second, $2,500. No victim contact.
Muy bien, señor, a usted se le acusa, bueno, la lectura de la acusación de los cargos se ha renunciado a ella, pero tengo que informarle que usted tenía una acusación previa de tenencia de cocaína y de tenencia de instrumentos para el uso de drogas en el caso de 2019 CF 28382. En ese caso se había fijado fianza. En cuanto a esta acusación, determinó que existen indicios de criminalidad, se designa provisionalmente el abogado de oficio para que les represente y se concede fianza de la siguiente manera. Cargo número 1, $5,000. Cargo número 2, $2,500. Se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con la víctima.
The condition's actually going to be no contact with any minors under the age of 18.
Bueno, las condiciones actualmente son que se le prohíbe todo tipo de contacto con todos los menores de 18 años.
He also picked up another case, which is possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting without violence.
También tiene otra acusación de tenencia de cocaína, tenencia de instrumentos para el uso de drogas y de desobedecer a las autoridades.
I do find probable cause for this. I'm temporarily appointing the public defender's office. I'm setting a bond on the possession of cocaine at $2,500 and for the remaining misdemeanors at $150 each.
Muy bien, entonces se determina que existen indicios de criminalidad, se designa provisionalmente el abogado de oficio para que les represente y en este caso las fianzas son de la siguiente manera: $2,500 de fianza en el caso de tenencia de cocaína y para todas las faltas acompañantes $150 cada una.
And I'm revoking the bond on the 2019. Yes.
I'm sorry to
Y-
interrupt, but as to case number 19 CF 2383, it is incorrect that he's out on bond?
Muy bien, entonces estoy revocando la fianza en el caso 2018. Su señoría, perdone que le interrumpa. En cuanto a la acusación 2019 CF 2383, no es correcto el hecho de que él se encuentre libre bajo fianza.
He was placed on probation as to that case, and the probation was terminated April last year.
Oh, okay.
En ese caso, a él se le colocó en régimen de libertad vigilada, al cual se le puso fin en abril del año pasado.
All right, then he will have a bond.
Muy bien, entonces se le concederá fianza.
And Judge, for the clarity of the record, I would ask the court to take no action on 19 CF 2383 based upon what pretrial release had mentioned to the court.
No action on 2019 case.
Thank you, Judge.
Muy bien, su señoría. Entonces, para que quede claro en las actas, le estoy solicitando a este juzgado que no tome acción en cuanto al caso 19 CF 2383, según lo que acaba de informar el personal del programa de libertad provisional. Entonces, no se tomará acción en cuanto a ese caso.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing from Osceola, Your Honor. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You're welcome. You have a good day as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
And he can't even leave a voice message.
Okay, thank you.
That we need to reach out to Ms. Skalls. I don't have her number. I'm sure my office probably does. I know she generally can reach him. And he, just to confirm, he just had one charge, correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right, good morning. Today is May 16, 2022. I'm Judge Case Johnson. This is the preliminary hearing for Victor Santiago Peresquia, charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, warrant number 2022 WA07388. Representing the state is Ms. Cheryl Freeman. Representing the defendant is Mr. Javad Rogers. Ms. Freeman, your witness.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Ward, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of state of Georgia versus Victor Santiago Peresquia will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Mercedes Ward. I'm with the Clayton County Police Department.
How long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
It'll be 6 years in November.
And ma'am, will you work with the Clayton County Police Department on April 29th of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And on that particular date, did you respond to the 6165 Hickory Drive in Forest Park, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly is at that location?
You said what's at that location?
Yes.
It's a residence.
Is it a house?
Yes, it's a single family house.
Okay. Why were you dispatched to that location?
We got a 911 call in reference to a welfare check, in which someone notified us that there was a subject inside the house pointing guns and subjects taking drugs.
When you arrived at that location, Officer Ward, who did you speak with?
When I arrived to the location, I initially spoke with an unknown male and female who were outside our location. They were loading boxes into a vehicle. When asked if they resided at the location, they denied. Therefore, I asked to speak with someone who did live at the residence, and one of the subjects agreed to go and retrieve them for me. And while following them to the front door of the residence, I made contact with another male in which a foot pursuit pursued.
How many were you able to determine lived at that residence?
I'm sorry, your question broke up.
How many people were you able to determine lived there?
Unknown a number.
How many bedrooms, if you can recall, were they in the house?
There were 3 traditional bedrooms, and there was a garage that was kind of makeshift into another bedroom.
Were you able to determine who owned the home?
At a later time, yes, ma'am.
Was the owner of the home present when you were at the house?
No, ma'am.
Please tell us what you observed once you entered the home.
When I got to the front door was wide open. There was a Hispanic male sitting in the couch with his head back. When I asked him if he was okay and flashed my flashlight, he grabbed an object, which I immediately identified as a drug-related object. The gentleman began to attempt to flee out of the back of the residence, so a foot pursuit ensued, where random people started coming out of different bedrooms in the house to see what was going on.
At some point, did you make contact with Mr. Victor Peruskia?
Yes, ma'am. So after we got the subject apprehended, myself and other officers cleared the rest of the residence for additional people trying to get him out of the location. I made contact with the defendant, who was in the side of a bedroom by himself.
Can you describe what you saw in that room?
Yes, in the bedroom, there was a long dresser, and at the end of the dresser, there was a white powder substance in plain view, which was later field tested positive for cocaine.
Did you locate any belongings of Mr. Peruskia in that bedroom?
I believe he had some clothes in that immediate area.
Did Mr. Peruskia state that that was his bedroom?
He said it was not his bedroom and that he was waiting for someone.
Did he indicate that the clothing that you stated you believe to be his, did he indicate that that was his clothing?
Yes, because he asked me to grab it for him.
What exactly did Mr. Peruskia ask you to do?
He was shirtless and he asked me to go and retrieve his hoodie that was near the substance, and which I did, and that's when I found that it was in plain view.
Was the substance you located, was it in any kind of container? Was it just loose? Can you tell us how you found the substance?
Yes, ma'am. It was loose, and it was, in a line. It was prepared to be ingested. So it was basically what they call a line of coke.
And this was field tested, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did it test positive for cocaine?
Yes, ma'am.
At the time, did you locate any identifying information that belonged to anyone else in that bedroom?
I didn't have the legal authority to search the bedroom.
All of this happened in Clayton County?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, Mr. Rogers.
And Officer Ward, I guess I'll start kind of towards the end there. You said that Mr. Peruskia asked you to grab his hoodie for him.
Yes, sir.
Where were you all at when you had that conversation?
Everyone that occupied the house at the time when we entered, we had them all come into the living room. So there was about, I believe there was 5 subjects in the living room that we were conversing with. And that time he was shirtless and he asked me to retrieve his hoodie for him.
And I just want to verify, you did say that it's not Mr. Peruskia's residence, correct?
No, I don't believe he lives there At least he said he didn't live there.
Okay. And the cocaine that we're talking about, or at least what field tested for cocaine, it's not in his belongings, is it?
No, it was in his immediate area.
And when you say in his immediate area, where is he when you first encounter Mr. Pereskia?
So when we were clearing the residence, there was another officer on the other side of the door frame who saw him. He said that he was laying in the bed. I didn't see him laying in the bed. When I made contact with him, I saw him standing up, and he was standing in front of the dresser where the substance was.
Let's see. And just so I'm clear, you didn't, at no point does anybody see Mr. Pereskia handling the substance or anything like that. Is that correct?
I didn't see it.
And Mr. Pereskia, he told you that he doesn't live there?
He told me that he does not live there and that he was laying in a bed waiting for someone. Like I said, when I made contact with him, he was the only occupant of that room.
Okay. And nobody's saying that Mr. Pereskia, nobody's identified Mr. Pereskia as being like the reason for the call or anything like that, correct?
I'm sorry, the reason for the call?
Right.
Not in my investigation.
And let me ask, is everybody or all the officers wearing body-worn cameras while they're inside the house to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
And have you been able to verify that yours at least is working?
Yes, definitely.
And I'm sorry, I might have stepped on it, but was it working properly?
Yes, sir.
And as far as you know, the hoodie that we're talking about, is that the extent of the belongings that you're aware that Mr. Pereskia had in the room?
From my knowledge, yes, that's all he asked me to retrieve. And like I said, I didn't have any legal authority to search any other parts of the room.
I don't think I need further questions at this moment, John.
All right, Ms. Freeman, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
Mr. Rogers, do you have any witnesses?
No, ma'am, just argument.
All right, closing arguments, Ms. Freeman.
State waives opening.
Mr. Rogers, go ahead.
Well, Your Honor, I guess I'll start with the fact that at this point, we have mere proximity, which is insufficient at this point to charge Mr. Pereskia with possession. It's not alleged that he's in actual possession. It's not on his person. It's not in his belongings. It's on a dresser in a house that he does not own. So at best, the state's left with constructive possession. Under the circumstances, there's really no basis to assume that. It's not his house. There's no allegation that he controls a residence or anything like that. He's not seen handling the property. No officer saying that they saw him do anything with the cocaine. The one officer sees him, I guess at least as Officer Ward understood it, sees him laying in the bed. He's laying in the bed shirtless, which is consistent with being somewhere waiting on somebody to come back, possibly, especially if you were there for romantic purposes or something along those lines. With that being said, additionally, there's no allegation that he made any sort of admissions or claim to drugs, anything like that, or that anybody else said that they were Mr. Pereskia's drugs. So all they have is that Mr. Pereskia is laying in a bed, shirtless in a room that's not his room, not his house, near what is alleged to be cocaine. That, like I said, is mere proximity. It's not consistent with possession. To have possession, one has to have both control and the intention to exercise control over the property. There's no basis to allege those things. Furthermore, and there's case law to that effect. I don't want to leave that out, but I imagine Your Honor's aware. But there's case law that says mere proximity is insufficient. I've got Wofford, and I've also got another Supreme Court case that echoes that to Georgia Supreme Court case. But that would be insufficient. Additionally, just from a factual standpoint, more of a common sense and just being real standpoint, as I understand it, Mr. Pereskia is in the living room shirtless. He's not even in this bedroom anymore. If he knows there's cocaine on a counter in there. The officer's not planning on going back in there, at least to his obvious knowledge or anything like that. He specifically asked the officer about claiming belongings that are found in the room so that he's no longer shirtless. Generally, if somebody knows cocaine is in a room laying out, they're not going to send a police officer into that room or anything of that nature. It's a completely reasonable request if you stand around shirtless to ask for a shirt once you've been pulled out of bed. All of these things, the lack of anybody implicating Mr. Paraski as being in possession, he's not claiming it. Nobody's seen him handling it. It's not in his property. It's not on his person. It's not in his house. There's just no basis at this point to charge Mr. Paraski with even one thing that he did do. It's just not consistent with somebody who knows that there's an illegal substance and that you're not going to ask the police to do anything that would possibly give them another chance. If you knew cocaine is in there and they didn't see it the first time, you'd be thanking your lucky stars that they didn't see it and you wouldn't do anything to possibly send them back in there. So for all those reasons, yeah, I'll ask that the charge would be dismissed for lack of probable cause. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Rogers. Ms. Freeman?
We're asking that the one charge of possession of controlled substance be bound over to Superior Court. We heard a testimony from Officer Ward. She indicated that Mr. Perugia certainly asked for someone to retrieve his hoodie. The hoodie was right by a line of cocaine. Officer Ward, I believe, testified that there was another officer when the officer was there, indicated that Mr. Perugia was there in the bedroom. We believe that the information provided this morning by Officer Ward is sufficient for probable cause. So we're asking that the one charge be bound over to Superior Court.
All righty. Based upon the evidence presented here today, I do find that there's sufficient probable cause to bind over the charge, the VGCSA, over to the Superior Court of Clayton County. That's the order of the court.
Thank you, Judge. We'll get the officer on FAM to log on.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
All right, good morning. Today is May 16th, 2022. I'm Judge Case Johnson. This is the preliminary hearing for 10 HEP FAM.
10 HEP FAM.
And Mr. Chung Pham, are you going to be interpreting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So I'll try to go a little slower.
Thank you.
All right. Are you ready for me to proceed? Did you interpret the first part already?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Pham is charged with aggravated assault.
Ông Phạm bị công tố về cái tội hành hung.
Warrant number 2022 CW 51614.
Cái number là 2022.
My apologies, but did you swear the interpreter in?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pham, go ahead and raise your, my apologies. Do you swear to interpret from English to, what is it?
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, my apologies for that. All righty. And so we said, representing the state is Ms. Cheryl Freeman.
Thì cái người công tố là Michelle Freeman.
Representing Mr. Pham is Ms. Tiffany Pleasant.
Cô luật sư Tiffany Pleasant là cái người luật sư cho ông Phạm.
Ms. Freeman, your witness.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Ellis, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of State of Georgia versus T and Pham will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? You can unmute yourself.
Do.
Say it one more time.
I do.
You can lower your hand. Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Tên của ông là tên gì và ông làm ở đâu? Con excuse me, Your Honor. He wanted to, Mr. Pham thought I talked to him. Can I explain it to him? Phạm Tiến này là chú thông dịch cho con thôi, con chỉ đứng con nghe thôi. Thông dịch những cái lời mà cái cô công tố với lại cái ông cảnh sát nha. Ông sẽ kể lại cái chuyện cái hôm đó như thế nào chứ không phải là nói chuyện của con nha. Con đứng nghe thôi.
Also, Ellis, please tell us your name and how you're employed.
My name is Isaiah.
One second, Ms. Freeman. Jail, can you please place yourself on mute?
Go ahead, Officer Ellis.
Wait a minute. So Officer Ellis, Ms. Freeman is going to ask you a question, and then the interpreter will interpret that, and then you speak after the interpreter.
All right.
All right. Answer. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Freeman.
Tell us your name and how you're employed.
Tôi biết tên và ông làm ở đâu.
Go ahead.
My name is Isaiah Ellis. I'm employed by Forest Park.
Tên tôi là Isaac mà tôi làm cho thành phố Forest Park.
How long have you worked with the Forest Park Police Department?
Ông làm ở đó bao lâu rồi?
Been working with Forest Park Police for 1 year now.
Có 1 năm rồi.
Were you working on April 9th of 2022?
Cái ngày 9 tháng 4 năm 2022 đó là ông có đi làm không?
Yes.
Có.
Did you respond to 812 Pine Valley Drive in reference to a person's stab?
Rồi ông có đi gọi tới cái là cái nhà 812 Pine Valley không?
Yes.
Có.
When you arrived at that location, who did you make contact with?
Khi mà ông tới đó thì là ông gặp ai ở đó?
I made contact with the witness who had Tien's father sitting in her front yard in a lawn chair.
Khi mà tôi tới đó thì tôi gặp một cái người nhân chứng là cha của ông Tiên.
Was this Miss Kimberly Bright?
Yes, it was.
The interpreter, I'm just waiting for you.
Can you repeat your question again? I missed your question.
Was this Kimberly Bright?
Cái người đó, nhân chứng đó là Kimberly Bright phải không?
Yes.
Phải.
What did Miss Bright tell you that happened?
Cái tới đó thì cái cô Bright á, cổ nói gì với ông?
He saw Mr. Pham walking up the street with his arm bleeding, and she stopped him.
Rồi cô ta thấy ông Phạm á, là đi ở trên đường á, mà cái tay chảy máu.
Were you able to determine how Mr. Lon was stabbed?
Rồi ông có biết là tại sao là ông Lon bị đâm như thế nào không?
Yes.
Biết.
What were you able to determine?
Rồi ông như thế nào?
I see you were on Judge Cowan's 11A.
Attorney Morgan, you're not muted. Attorney Morgan, thank you. Go ahead, Officer Ellis.
All right. It was determined the laceration and being stabbed with a knife, a sharp object.
Well, you're breaking up. Say that one more time.
It was determined that he was stabbed with a sharp object.
Thì tôi nhận thấy là ông ta bị đâm ở trên bị đâm ở trong người.
Were you able to determine who stabbed Mr. Lon?
Rồi ông biết ai là cái người đâm ông ta không?
Yes.
Biết.
Who was that?
Ai? Người đó là ai?
I'm getting a little thrown off of the translation. Okay, you said who was that? Is in who's the person?
Who did you learn had stabbed Mr. Lon?
Ông biết cái người mà đâm ông Loan không?
Tiên Phạm.
Cái ông Tiên Phạm.
Did Mr. Lon tell you that Tien Pham stabbed him?
Cái ông Loan, ông có nói cho ông biết là Thiên Phạm là đâm ổng không?
Yes.
Có.
What did Mr. Lon tell you that happened?
Rồi ông Loan, ông nói như thế nào với ông?
Did you ask when?
What did he tell you would happen between he and Mr. Tien Pham?
Cái ông Loan á, thì ông có kể là cái nội vụ xảy ra như thế nào giữa Thiên Phạm với ông Loan Phạm không?
That he got in a verbal altercation with Tien and
Ông nói là con trai ông với ông cãi nhau.
Go ahead, Officer Ellis, you can finish.
Yeah, he got into a verbal altercation with Tien and he stabbed him.
Rồi sau đó là bắt đầu đánh lộn, rồi ông Tiên á, ông dùng dao đâm ông Loan.
Was Mr. Lon transported to the hospital?
Thì ông Loan có đi nhà thương không?
Yes, he was able to tell me before he was transported.
Có, người ta nói là chở ông đi nhà thương.
Were you able to determine where on Mr. Lon's body he was stabbed?
Ông có biết là đâm ở cái chỗ nào không vậy?
In the report, I don't remember. I know it was in his arm, but to be more specific, I don't remember which arm is in the report.
Trong cái report thì tôi không nhớ, nhưng mà tôi chỉ nhớ đó là đâm ở trên cái cánh tay thôi, và tôi không biết là cái chỗ chính xác ở chỗ nào.
Did you locate the knife that was used?
Rồi ông có thấy cái con dao mình dùng để mà đâm ông đâm ông ta không?
I believe the detectives did that.
Hình như là ông thám tử có con dao đó.
Was Mr. Tien Pham still on the scene when you got there?
Thì khi mà ông tới đó thì ông Tiên Phạm có mặt ở đó không?
No, he was not.
Không, ông ta không có mặt ở đó.
Did this happen in Clayton County?
Cái chuyện này xảy ra ở cái quận Clayton County phải không?
Yes, it did happen in Clayton County.
Yeah, đúng, xảy ra ở quận Clayton.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Cảm ơn, tôi không có câu hỏi gì nữa.
All right, Ms. Pleasant. Thank you.
Now, the alleged stabbing, where exactly is that to have occurred?
Cho tôi biết là cái lúc mà đâm á, là xảy ra vào lúc nào không?
At the address listed in the report.
Tại cái địa chỉ mà tôi có ghi ở trong cái report.
So 812 Pine Valley.
Phải là 812 Pine Valley phải không?
But was it inside the residence or outside the residence?
It was determined to inside. Sorry, translate
Cái đó
myself.
là xảy ra ở trong nhà hay là ở ngoài nhà?
It was determined to happen inside the residence due to the blood.
Cái là xảy ra ở trong nhà.
And do you know exactly where inside the residence?
Ông có biết là cái ở trong nhà ở cái chỗ nào ở trong nhà không?
Can't be too sure. I believe the detectives determined that. I did see blood on the floor near the front entrance, side entrance of a makeshift store that they built on the garage, but that could be determined that he was just dripping blood at that point, but we believe it happened further inside the residence.
Do you know? I'm sorry.
Tôi không biết rõ chính xác là cái vị trí nào trong nhà, nhưng mà khi mà tôi đến đó thì tôi thấy máu ở ngoài cái cửa trước, và thám tử có thể là biết rõ hơn tôi, và thám tử có thể cái chuyện có thể xảy ra từ ở trong phòng bên trong, nó kéo ra ngoài.
Your knowledge were photos taken of the alleged crime scene.
Rồi ngoài ra còn có ông có làm gì ở trong cái hiện trường đó không?
Correct. They were taken.
Có.
And did Ms. Bright provide a written statement?
Cái cô nhân chứng Bright đó, cô có viết cái statement ra cho cảnh sát biết không?
Yes, she did.
Có.
I'm sorry. Did you finish, Mr. Pham?
Yes.
Okay. And were there any other witnesses to this alleged incident?
Còn ngoài ra còn có những cái nhân chứng nào không ngoài cái cô này?
I believe there was another, but I don't think he did a written statement. I'm going to check back with the report on that one.
Tôi tin là có một người nữa, nhưng mà cái người đó họ không có viết ra cho cảnh sát biết để trong cái vụ mà làm nhân chứng đó.
Your knowledge, has Mr. Tien Pham given any statements regarding this incident?
Cái lúc mà khi tới đó thì có cái gì mà để mà báo cho Thiên Phạm biết được là ông ta bị công tố như vậy không?
No, because it was clear at the scene right after the incident.
No, ông ta không có ở đó. Khi mà chúng tôi đến thì ông ta đã bỏ đi rồi.
And no one's spoken to him since he's been taken into custody.
Rồi không có ai khi mà từ lúc ông vô tù là có ai nói chuyện với ông Tiên ở trong tù không?
No.
Không.
Thank you. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Freeman, any follow-up?
No, Your Honor, the state rests.
All righty, Ms. Pleasant. Closing arguments?
Your Honor, defense will submit.
I'm sorry?
Defense will submit, Your Honor.
Okay.
Tôi chỉ xin bãi lại cái kê này.
Professional Officer Ellis be excused.
I couldn't hear you, Ms. Freeman.
May Officer Ellis be excused?
Yes, so based upon the evidence presented in defense, I'm submitting there is probable cause to abandon this matter over to the Superior Court of Clayton County.
Dựa trên những cái nhân chứng này, dựa trên những cái lời khai này, tôi thấy là cái chuyện cái sự mà gây tội của ông Tiên Phạm là có, và sẽ chuyển cái kê của ông Tiên Phạm lên Superior Court, trên tòa lớn.
Ellis, you're excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pham, Mr. Chung Pham.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond Court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
All right, good morning. Today is May 16, 2022. I'm Judge Case Johnson. This is the preliminary hearing for Mr. Brad Kofi Frempong, charged with warrant number 2022 CW 51438, possession of a firearm. 2022 CW 51439, participation in criminal gang activity. 2022 CW 51440, participation in criminal gang activity. 2022 CW 51441, VGCSA. And warrant 2022 CW 51442, possession of a machine gun. 2022 CW 51443, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Representing the defendant is Mr. Byron Morgan. Representing the state is Ms. Cheryl Freeman. Ms. Freeman, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Chase, you can turn your video on and unmute yourself. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear in the affirm that the testimony about to provide in the matter of state of Georgia versus Brad Frempong will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? We couldn't hear you.
I do.
Please tell us your name and how you're employed.
Detective Chase. I'm employed with the Clayton County Police Department.
And Detective, how long have you worked with the Clayton County Police Department?
Approximately 4 years.
You worked with the Clayton County Police Department on February 6th.
Yes.
And on that particular day, did you happen to come in contact with a Brad Frempong?
On that particular day, no, ma'am, I did not.
Well, did you happen to come into contact with Mr. Frempong as a result of an incident that happened on February 16th of 2022?
Yes, I did.
Okay, please walk us through what happened on February 16th of 2022 that eventually brought you into contact with Mr. Frempong.
On February 16th, 2022, Mr. Frempong, along with 4 other individuals, posted a video online in which they were brandishing firearms in a complex located at 330 Arrowhead Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia. One of our gang investigators who is assigned to uniform patrol recognized the area, conducted a general patrol of the area, and located the vehicle along with all of the individuals and Mr. Frempong. Upon seeing the uniform patrol marked vehicle, Mr. Frempong fled the scene on foot. It was only after the officer conducted his initial investigation and found the registered owner of the vehicle, Mr. Frempong's father, that Mr. Frempong was identified. Mr. Frempong's father responded to the scene and stated that he gave that vehicle to his son to drive. Officer Christian identified Mr. Frempong based on the GCIC photo return. And inside the vehicle, we located several firearms along with 45 grams of marijuana, a couple cell phones, and one of the firearms in question did have a modification to it, which makes it, according to Georgia law, a machine gun, which is illegal to possess.
The 45 grams of marijuana, how were you able to determine if that was marijuana?
Based on my knowledge, training, and experience, as well as the officers on scene submitted it because it's a felony amount, according to our policy. They submitted it for a DOFIS drug identification through the GBI drug lab. I'm not sure if they got that particular results back because they usually take a couple months to come back.
How was the marijuana packaged?
To my knowledge, it was packaged in clear plastic.
Detective, based on the packaging and the amount of marijuana that was found, what did that indicate to you?
As along with the marijuana, there were also scales, and just based on my knowledge and experience, scales in that large quantity of marijuana is typically found when the marijuana is being distributed.
Where were the firearms located, Detective?
Firearms were located in the floorboard of the rear passenger seat, and one was also located underneath the floorboard on the driver's side.
And just go back a little bit, when at some point the people in the vehicle fled?
Yes. The individual in the front driver's side, which was Mr. Frimpong, fled, and the individual on the front passenger side also fled. Other individuals that remained on scene with Officer Christian, who was the responding officer at the time.
How were you able to determine, or did find out that the owner of the vehicle was Mr. Frimpong's father?
We ran the vehicle's tag through GCIC, and based on the response, it indicated that Mr. Frimpong's father was the registered owner. So we used his phone number, which was also on GCIC, and gave him a call and asked him if he was a registered owner of the vehicle. He responded yes. He came out to the scene and relayed to us that he had given the keys for the vehicle to his son, Mr. Frimpong, who should have been in possession of it at the time.
Detective, in the beginning of your testimony, you told us, or you described something that happened on social media. Tell us again, what exactly were you able to observe on social media?
It was, so the officer who initially went out there, Officer Christian, based on his incident report, he observed Mr. Frimpong and other individuals who have been identified as associates of the Blood Criminal Street Gang brandishing firearms in a complex inside Clayton County.
Was that complex around the 330 Arrowhead in Jonesboro, Georgia?
Yes.
At the time when Mr. Frimpong would have been in possession of these firearms, was it suspected that he was also part of this criminal street gang?
Yes.
Did all of this happen in Clayton County?
Yes, it did.
Thank you. No further questions.
Morgan, Attorney Morgan.
Good morning, Detective. Let's start with the alleged marijuana. You have no way of knowing that this is not hemp, do you?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, and now let's move to the 2 gang activity charges. Describe to me why there should be 2 gang activity charges and not 1.
Because the way the statute describes it is, one charge is for being employed by the criminal street gang while conducting criminal street gang activity. The other is for conducting the criminal street gang activity with the purpose of maintaining and establishing your association with that street gang.
Okay. And if I'm understanding you correctly, you're alleging that Mr. Frimpong and others were brandishing weapons. Is that correct? I'm sorry, Mr. Chase, did you hear me?
Yes, sir, I am.
So you're alleging that he and others were brandishing the weapons, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And which gun was located where?
That I don't know the specifics. The case was forwarded to me in the narcotics division. Okay. I can only go based off the initial report, which was filed by Officer Christian.
Okay, so you don't know which gun, if any, Mr. Frimpong possessed?
So constructively, he possessed all of the firearms that were in the vehicle.
And how do you know that he was in the vehicle?
Officer Christian identified him based on Officer Christian saw the front driver and the front passenger before they fled the scene. Officer Christian identified him based off the picture on his GCIC return, and his father also responded to the scene and stated that Mr. Frimpong should have in fact been in physical control of the vehicle because he gave the keys to him.
So this is all based on Officer Christian.
Yes.
You don't have Mr. Frimpong flashing any gang signs, do you?
Do I have him flashing gang signs?
Yeah.
Can I produce a picture of that at this moment? Is that what you're asking me, sir?
Yes.
I don't have my laptop with me, but I have personally observed him flashing gang signs on social media, yes.
Okay. So the possession that you're alleging that he has is not direct possession, it's constructive possession, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Well, that's all, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Freeman, any
No
follow-up?
additional questions? No, Your Honor, the state rests.
All right, Mr. Morgan, do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, just argument.
All right, closing arguments, Ms. Freeman.
State waives opening.
Mr. Morgan, go ahead.
Well, Judge, first of all, as to the marijuana, we don't know that it is marijuana. All we know is it is a green leafy substance consistent with being marijuana, but it also could very easily be hemp. As the court knows, in order to prove that it's marijuana, even to a probable cause standard, they have to prove that it is greater than 0.3% THC content. There's no evidence whatsoever that that's the case. Judge, as to the machine gun and the other charges, the gang activity and the other charges, Judge, there's just not enough. And we would ask that you dismiss this case. Thank you.
The state is asking that all the charges be bound over. Based on Detective Chase's experience and knowledge, he believes that the green leaf material that they collected was marijuana. For the purpose of probable cause, we believe that that is sufficient. He did indicate that it's been sent out. We do not have those test results at this time, but based on the packaging and the scales, his experience and knowledge, he indicated that's believed to be meant for distribution. And his other testimony regarding this young man's, and as Attorney Morgan asked, has he seen him display gang signs? And Detective Chase said he personally has seen him do that. He testified about what was shown on social media, and that he was the driver of this car. So we believe that the information provided is certainly sufficient for probable cause. And we're asking that all charges be bound over.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman. So based upon the evidence presented here today, I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind over all the charges to the Superior Court of Clayton County. That's the order.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
right, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
All right,
Morning, y'all.
Deputy Bush, good morning to you. How you doing?
Doing good by you, sir.
Pretty good here, Deputy Ricani. Appreciate y'all on the early start here. All right, you all ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, Sean.
Okay, all right, let's do it. All right, good morning, everyone. Today is May 10th, it's 2022. This is the Magistrate Court, Clayton County. First appearance this morning, Judge Knight's presiding. You're here today. It's an informative calendar. I'm here to tell you things. I'm going to inform you of what you're charged with, what your bond amount will be if you are entitled or will be getting a bond today. I will let you know what your next court date is, which is your preliminary hearing. Also, I will appoint an attorney to represent you based on the application for court-appointed counsel that you completed. And most importantly, I will inform you of your United States constitutional rights. So those constitutional rights never go away. No one can take them from you. And you are the only person who can voluntarily waive them. You have the right for the state to prove this charge or these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. The state is the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the district attorney. If you're charged with a felony, or the solicitor general, if you're charged with a misdemeanor. The state also includes any individuals who are known as state actors, like the police officer, drug technician, anyone involved in testifying against you or making the case against you so that you may be prosecuted on this charge or these charges will be considered a state actor. So you have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine any witnesses who the state may call to testify against you. You have the right to subpoena witnesses on your own behalf and to testify if you choose to do so, and also to present evidence if you choose to do so. If you do not testify, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. Also, you have the right to an attorney through every proceeding related to this charge or these charges. I must let you know this is being live streamed on YouTube. So that means anything you say now can be reviewed at any time by someone looking at the archives on YouTube. So govern yourself accordingly. This is not a trial. It's not a hearing. If you tell me things, you'll just be telling me. Don't regret it later, because that will be on you. I'm not here to assist you. I can't assist you. I'm not your lawyer. The best person to tell all the facts about your case is your attorney. Also, I don't work with the public defender or Lister Holt and Dennis or the sheriff or the police or the bonding company. Those are all independent agencies, and a representative from any of those agencies is the best person to answer questions related to those respective agencies. As far as bond goes, some of you will not get a bond today. That's because by law, I can't give you one. If you're charged with certain offenses like murder, rape, aggravated sodomy, or child molestation, those type of offenses, that they in the criminal justice field, they're known as the 7 deadly sins or 7 deadly crimes, along with other crimes such as trafficking offenses and others. You can't get a bond today. You must get a bond at a later date by a magistrate court judge who is designated as a superior court judge, or by an actual superior court judge. So that will be a different date, and that bond hearing date is May 27th. You're not getting a bond today. That will be a bond hearing date. If you speak to your lawyer, it's possible you may get a bond before May 27th. Also, some of you will have what are known as special conditions of bond. Special condition means you can't go somewhere, you can't contact someone. If I say, for example, you can't go to 123 Main Street, don't go there. Can't contact Joe Smith. Don't contact that person. Failure to comply with the special condition of bond will result in additional criminal charges, for example, influencing a witness, aggravated stalking, criminal trespass, and other crimes. So don't do it. Speak to your lawyer. And again, those special conditions may be changed once your lawyer speaks to the prosecutor. The bonding company will let you know what the fees are, what the percentage may be. All of those questions, I don't know the answer. So if you ask me, I don't know, because I legitimately don't keep up with that. That's for the bonding company to let you know. There's going to be a fee. There's probably going to be a percentage. The bonding company representative will let you know those specific details. Also, your next court date is your preliminary hearing. Preliminary hearing means you will be able to contest this matter for the first time. So your preliminary hearing is also known as a probable cause hearing. Probable cause is the burden that the state has at that time. They must show by a preponderance of the evidence why, in fact, your charge is valid. So, for example, they must show that there was a lawful valid arrest and the officer or investigator or detective, whomever was involved in your arrest, will then outline the reasoning. Then you or your lawyer may get a chance to cross-examine them. If your arrest was valid and lawful, then your case will be bound over to Superior Court if there's at least one felony, State Court if there is only misdemeanor offenses. If your arrest was illegal or invalid, then the charges will be dismissed. And let me just correct something I said there. The burden is not preponderance of the evidence. The burden is they must show that there was sufficient probable cause at the preliminary hearing. At your trial, the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. And the state alone has these burdens. You do not. Also, the preliminary hearing for felony offenses is May 23rd. For misdemeanor offenses, May 24th. On both of those days, 8:30 is the time. If you bond out of jail, then your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. That means it goes away. So if you bond out of jail, preliminary hearing goes away and you'll be on standby in the mail for your arraignment date, which will then become your next court date. Also, you can waive your preliminary hearing at any time, including today, if you choose to do so. Waiving your preliminary hearing is not indeed admitting any guilt. It's just simply that you're giving up that opportunity to have the witnesses from the state testify for the first time to show whether or not your arrest was valid. Also, I will appoint an attorney to represent you based on the application for court-appointed counsel that you completed this morning. Once I speak with you individually, those will be the things I'll be going over. This is your charge. This is your bond if you're entitled to a bond. Here is your special conditions if they apply. This is your preliminary hearing date and or bond hearing date. And appoint an attorney to represent you. Those are the only things that I'm discussing today. If you have any questions about those 4 or 5 things, then I can answer those questions. Any other questions? That's for your lawyer. All right, each of you raise your right hand for me. Each of you solemnly swear or affirm any statements or testimony you will give in this first appearance matter not pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right. Gentlemen, be on standby. We'll have the ladies first. All right, and so this is, who's the juvenile here? Mr. Alexander, who's there with you, sir? Good morning to you.
This is Lieutenant Robinson with him.
All right, Lieutenant Robinson, good morning to you.
Good morning.
He will be first appeared tomorrow. He'll be continued to tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so you will be tomorrow, okay.
All right.
Will they send us the time, a new link, I guess?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be 11 a.m. tomorrow. You get a new link. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good morning. What's your name?
Monica Farley.
All right, Ms. Farley. You're charged with one count of defective headlights. 500 is your bond. Suspended registration, 500. Driving while license suspended, 1,500. They're all misdemeanors. Your preliminary hearing scheduled for the 24th of May. That's at 8:30. And I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions, Ms. Farley?
No, no, sir.
All right, thank you.
Jones, collecting, you're next.
All right, Ms. Jones, good morning. Is this Alexis Jones?
It is.
All right, Ms. Jones, you're charged with one count of criminal trespass. It's a misdemeanor. Your bond is 2,500. There's no contact at this time with Tobias Jones. Preliminary hearing, 24th of May, 8:30. And I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
You said criminal trespassing. I was there overnight. I didn't understand why I had got hit.
All right. Your warrant reads that you did on 4/24/2022 at 3217 Canterbury Trail in Rex. Committed the offense of criminal trespass, damage to property. In that, defendant did intentionally damage the property of Tobias Jones without the consent of the property owner, and the damage there was 500 or less. Said accused did, while in a verbal argument with the victim about a car payment, kicked the victim's car, red 2012 Nissan Altima, causing visible damage, driver's side passenger door. Said accused and the victim have lived together in the past and have been in a relationship. That's what the warrant reads, man. You have any questions?
No, do I get a bond today?
2,500. No contact with Tobias Jones.
Okay.
All right. You have any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Fleckman. Victoria, you're next.
Hello, sir.
Good morning to you. Is this Kiara Collectley?
Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. You charged with one count of simple battery. All right. It's 1,000 is your bond. No contact with Drensky Collectley at this time. Preliminary hearing scheduled for 24th of May. That's at 8:30. And I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. We share 2 kids together. Will I be able to have somebody get my kids?
All right, you have to talk to a lawyer about that.
Okay.
All right, talk to your attorney about that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Victoria. Moyes, you're next.
Good morning, sir.
Good Good morning to you. Is this
Janaya McCoy.
Janai McCory? Ms. McCory, good morning to you. All right, you charge of 1 count of obstructing an officer. 1,000 is your bond. Preliminary hearing is the 24th of May, 8:30. And I am appointing an attorney to represent you. You have any questions?
Yes. Is that, I gotta pay the full 1,000 for the bond, or is it 10% of the bond?
You have to speak with the bonding company. I'm not sure. I don't want to tell you the wrong amount.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
That's all.
All right, that concludes your first appearance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, shit.
Newell, you're next.
Hello, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to you. What's your name?
Alana Moyes.
All right, Ms. Moyes. You charge of 1 count of battery, family violence. Your bond is 5,000. At this time, there's no contact with Christine Simpson. Preliminary hearing, the 24th of May, 8:30. Do you still live at the 10172 address?
Yes, I do.
Do you live there?
Yes, I live there.
Does Christine Simpson live there?
When she's supposed to be going back to Jamaica. That's what caused all this issue. My boyfriend, sorry. She's supposed to be going back to Jamaica. I'm not sure what happened after I was arrested.
All right. All right. I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Newell, leave the pen. Please leave the pen. Newell. Randall, you're next.
All right, good morning. Is this Christine Newell?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right, good morning to you. Charge of 1 count of battery, family violence. Misdemeanor is 5,000 is your bond. There's no contact with Ashari Rosser. And preliminary hearing, 24th of May, 8:30. All right, ma'am, just to be sure, do you wish to have an attorney appointed or are you hiring your own attorney?
I wish to have one.
All right, we'll appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any.
All right, thank you.
Randall.
All right, good morning. It's Victoria Randall. All right, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 2,500 is your bond. Criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree, 2,500. 2 counts of aggravated assault, family violence, 10,000 on each of those 2. No contact with Keon Eberhardt. You can't return to the 2445 BFA 5 Rex Road, Allenwood address at this time. If you must return there, you must contact the Clayton County Sheriff or police. You must go there within 10 days, accompanied by law enforcement to get any belongings. You must go there within 10 days of your release from the jail. Preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May, 8:30, and I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, how am I supposed to get my children?
Can you say that again, please?
My 5 kids,
Am I supposed to have the sheriffs come for me to get my children?
Yes, ma'am. The only time you're going there is with law enforcement.
So I'm not allowed in my own home?
Not at this time, ma'am. Speak to your lawyer and that can change.
Okay. And how, can you tell me why I'm charged with aggravated assault?
The warrant reads that Victoria Randall did knowingly and maliciously interfere with the possession of the victims, Keon Everhart's car keys by throwing them on a wooden fence to a brush area, the property of the victim and offender. Due to them being married, the offender committed the act of damage to property in second degree, in that offender did intentionally damage the offender's the 2008 Mercury Mariner by driving a 2005 Chrysler Town Country into the victim. Vehicle damage included or exceeded $5,000. Offender committed the acts of aggravated assault ×2 when offender did unlawfully make an assault on the person of Keon Eberhard with a pocket knife, and did also wave it around the victim's person, having him in fear for his life, as well as driving the stated vehicle into the victim and the 2008 Mercury Mariner. And that is an object when used offensively against a person is likely to result in serious bodily injury. That's what the warrant reads.
Okay, and when I go to court for this, that's when they'll, like, we can show actual proof of what happened?
Yes, ma'am. You can talk to your lawyer about those details and your lawyer can develop a strategy for you or with you. All right.
Your Honor, I have one more female, but she's a fugitive. Would you like to save her for last and do both?
Let's do both. Let's if you could get Deputy Ricani, we'll just do both of them at the same time right now.
All right, Fletcher.
All right, Deputy Ricani, you have Darius Jackson, fugitive. All right, Ms. Fletcher, good morning to you.
Morning.
All right, just stand by one moment, okay? We're waiting on the male side. All right, let's see. Joshua Mosley. Is counsel here?
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. This is Jewel McReynolds here for Mr. Mosley. Good morning, Mr. Judge Knight.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, who are you here for?
Mr. Mosley, Your Honor.
Mr. Mosley.
Who's your attorney?
All right, we're gonna have him next, okay? What's his name?
His name?
Joshua Mosley?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I know that kind of stuff.
All
Yeah,
right.
I knew it.
All right, sir, what's your name?
Oh, my name. I know the name.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Mosley. Mr. Jackson.
Where's Jackson?
He's still en route to first appearance.
All right. So, Deputy Bush.
Yes, Sean.
We'll just stand by, Ms. Fletcher. We'll just do it at one time because I'm not doing it twice. All right, stand by for us, Ms. Fletcher. We'll do Mosley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Are you ready at this time?
Well, I'm ready. We're waiting for your client.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is this Mr. Mosley?
Yes, sir.
All right, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
All right, so you're here on 2 offenses here. Simple battery, obstructing an officer, the 2 misdemeanors. Your attorney is present here, and do have a bond here for both of those offenses, $2,500 and $1,000. $3,500 is your total. Your preliminary hearing is the 24th of May, 8:30. And you have any questions this morning?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, yes, sir. All right, counsel, you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, good to see you, and that will conclude the first appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, thank you. All right.
All right, Alfred.
All right, good morning to you. Is this Michael Dwayne Alfred?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. All right, charged with 3 misdemeanors here. Improper lane change, 500 is your bond. Driving, no valid license, 1,000. Use or possession of a drug-related objects, 500. All right, 2,000 is your total. 24th of May, 8:30, that's your preliminary hearing. And lastly, I am appointing an attorney to represent you. You have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bradshaw.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bradshaw, good morning to you.
Yeah,
All right, you're charged with 1 count of entering an automobile, it's a felony. 15,000 is your bond. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, it's a felony, 5,000. Possession of a handgun by a person under the age of 18 is a misdemeanor, it's 5,000 is your bond. Loitering and prowling is a misdemeanor, 1,000. All right, 26,000 is your total. Preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May. That's at 8:30. Lastly, Mr. Bradshaw, I am appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. Do you have any questions?
Can you tell me my bond again, sir?
All right, 26,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Firearms. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Hunter Burns.
All right, Mr. Burns. So you're charged with 1 count of forgery in the 3rd degree. So it's a felony. Your bond is 5,000. Identity fraud, 5,000. Theft by taking, 5,000. 15,000 is your total. Preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May, 8:30. And I am appointing an attorney to represent you. You have any questions?
I do not appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Over.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Davion Cooper.
All right, Mr. Cooper. You're charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property. 5,000 is your bond. Entering automobile, 15,000. Possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, 5,000. Possession of a weapon by a person under the age of 18, 5,000. Loitering or prowling, 1,000. All right, 31,000 is your total. Your preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May. That's at 8:30. And lastly, Mr. Cooper, I am appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. You have any questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, what's your question?
If the bond is paid, the hearing is dismissed, correct?
Well, it's not dismissed, it's waived.
All right.
All right. You have any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Holmes.
Morning.
One moment for me here. All right, let's see. Mr. Mitchell, good morning to you.
Morning, Judge. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, sir. Good to see you here. Who are you here for?
Last name is Turner, first name Ramisha.
All right. All right, that person will be continued to tomorrow at 11.
Tomorrow at 11, Judge. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I guess, so will I have to request a new Zoom link for tomorrow's hearing?
Yes, sir, you get a new link.
Okay.
Just the same way you did it this morning, and get that today again, tomorrow.
Okay, will do.
All
Okay,
right, yes,
thank
sir.
you, Judge. I appreciate
Good
it.
to
Have a
see you.
great day.
Thank you.
Or you see too.
All right. All right, yes, sir. What's your name?
Morning, Charles Coleman.
All right, Mr. Coleman. Sir, you're charged with one count of driving while license suspended. It is a misdemeanor. Your bond is $1,500. Preliminary hearing scheduled for the 24th, 8:30. All right, one moment here, looking at your application. All right, I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Davis.
All right, it's Benny Lee Davis.
Sir.
Yes, sir. You're charged with one count of violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, possession of cocaine. It's a felony. 8,000 is your bond. Improper turn signals, 500. Driving while license suspended, 1,500. Preliminary hearing scheduled for the 23rd of May, 8:30. And lastly here, Mr. Davis, I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Tony Gill.
All right, Mr. Gill. Charged with one count of burglary. It's a felony. 15,000 is your bond. Theft of services, 2,000. Simple battery, 2,500. There's no contact with Mr. Ishverbe Patel. Can't return to the 6358 Old Dixie Road address in Jonesboro. Preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May, 8:30. Lastly, Mr. Gill, one moment here. I am appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. You have any questions?
Yeah. No. I don't remember this.
All right. That concludes your first appearance, sir.
Morgan.
Yes, sir. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, Jerome Morgan.
All right, Mr. Morgan. One moment. Charge of one count of no taillights, 500 is your bond. One count of driving while license suspended is 1,500 is your bond. Preliminary hearing is the 24th of May at 8:30. And lastly, I'm appointing, well, no, you refused an attorney. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. You have any questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. What's your question?
I wanted to ask, driving without taillights in a rental car, does that still constitute a crime on my part?
Yes, sir. That's what they charge you with. Go ahead, talk to your lawyer and see if you can get that resolved. All right, let your lawyer know about that.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, you'll all be on standby for one moment here. All right, thank you all for your patience here.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Deputy Caney, appreciate that. All right, who's up next?
Cowboy.
All right, Mr. Cowboy, good morning to you, sir.
Morning.
All right, you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault. It's a felony. There's no bond on that offense today. 1 count of possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime. Also a felony. It's 5,000 on that offense. 23rd of May, 8:30. Preliminary hearing, bond hearing, 27th of May, 8:30. Also, I am appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. Do you have any questions?
No. Oh, sorry.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Young.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Howard. Sir, you're charged with aggravated battery. It's a felony. There's no bond on that offense today. Your preliminary hearing is scheduled for the 23rd of May. That's at 8:30. Also, I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Your bond hearing is the 27th of May at 8:30. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning to you. What's your name?
Marjorie Tolbert, sir.
All right, Mr. Tolbert. You're charged with 2 counts of simple battery, family violence. Your bond is $2,500 on each of those 2 offenses. You're also charged with 1 count of terroristic threats. That is a felony. Your bond is $10,000. Total bond is $15,000. No contact with Adrian Williams. Preliminary hearing is the 23rd of May, 8:30. And lastly, I am appointing an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
Again, all together it's 15,000 for all 3 charges, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, no further question, Your Honor. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. What's your name?
Calvin White.
All right, Mr. White. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of kidnapping, 1 count of false imprisonment, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of rape. There's no bond on any of those offenses today. Preliminary hearing scheduled for the 23rd of May. That's at 8:30. Bond hearing, 27th of May, 8:30. Lastly, Mr. White, I am appointing an attorney to represent you, sir. Do you have any questions?
Sir.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning to you, sir. All right, Mr.
LaShawn Williams.
Sean Patrick Williams, the 3rd. All right, so you're charged with 1 count of aggravated assault. There's no bond on that offense today. Preliminary hearing scheduled for the 23rd of May. That's at 8:30. Your bond hearing scheduled for the 27th of May at 8:30. I am appointing an attorney to represent you. You have any questions, Mr. Williams?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir. What's your name?
Darius Jackson, sir.
Jackson?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see, Deputy Ricani, can we get Deputy Bush with Kamaria Fletcher, please? Hang on for me,
Yes,
Mr. Jackson.
Ms. Fletcher? Oh, let me get my video. Yeah, let me refresh the page because the video button is not responding.
All right, yes, sir.
No, I've refreshed the page and logged out of the Zoom call and logged back in, and I'm still not getting a response from the start video button.
All right, Deputy Bush, let's see, are you far away? Is it possible to bring her to where Mr. Jackson is, or is she, let me ask Ms. Fletcher, are you okay with not being seen on video for this part?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
All right, well, let's do it. Ms. Fletcher, Kamaria Fletcher and Mr. Darius Jackson, you are both here. All of the constitutional rights that I outlined to you, to everyone earlier, they apply to you, except you're here for me to inform you about the extradition process. And so you are here today. Sorry, one moment, stand by for me. I apologize on that. You are here today because I'm going to inform you of the formal extradition process. The official code of Georgia annotated Title 17, Chapter 13, that's OCGA. Title 17, Chapter 13 allows this process to take place. What's happening is that you will not get a bond today because you are considered a fugitive and you remain in the custody of the Clayton County Jail based on the warrant that I'm going to read here for you. Mr. Jackson, the warrant reads that you did enter and remain in the state of Georgia while being wanted by the state of Florida, Volusia County Sheriff's Office for the charge of burglary and that is a felony, and they will extradite. For you, Ms. Fletcher, your warrant reads that you did enter and remain in the state of Georgia, knowing that you had an active warrant out of Faulkner County Sheriff's Office that is in the state of Arkansas for violation of probation, and they will extradite. So what can happen is that you can fight or contest the extradition, the formal extradition process here in Georgia, or you can waive the formal extradition process. If you decide to fight or contest the formal process, what you can fight or contest is, one, whether the documents are on its face correct. So that means the warrant or any other documents, are they correct? Secondly, whether the crime that you're charged with actually exists in the state of Florida or Arkansas. Thirdly, whether you are in fact the named person. Are you Kamaria Fletcher or are you Darius Jackson? And lastly, whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. Those are the four things you can contest. You can't contest guilty, not guilty. That is not for Georgia. That's for Florida or Arkansas. If you choose to do so, you can remain in custody of the Clayton County Jail for that more formal proceeding and go ahead and contest at that time. Can be up to 90 days. I'm not certain the amount of time, but generally it can be 30 to 90. So I'm not going to give you an exact time period, but that's the average time period. If you choose to waive the formal extradition proceeding, then that means you're going back voluntarily to Florida or Arkansas. And that means those respective states will make arrangements to get you transported or come to get you and take you back, and you deal with those charges in Florida or Arkansas. And generally it can be up to 10 days for them to get you. But again, I'm not going to quote you on the exact time period, but that's the estimated time period for them to return you to your respective state to deal with those charges there. So at this time, do you wish to waive, Ms. Fletcher, your the formal extradition proceeding and return to Arkansas, or fight it?
I'm gonna return.
All right. So Deputy Bush, do you have those waiver forms that I signed already?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Fletcher, if you can go ahead and sign off on those. Do you have any questions at this time?
No, sir.
All right, well, that will conclude my information to you. And Deputy Bush, thank you very much, sir. We'll see you soon.
My pleasure, sir. You have a good day.
You too. Mr. Jackson, do you wish to waive or contest the formal extradition proceeding?
Return, sir.
All right, and Deputy Ricania should have the waiver forms there, sir. If you can sign those. Do you have any questions at this time, Mr. Jackson?
Quick question. So when I sign this, I just gotta wait for Florida to come pick me up, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. And then you said you don't really know the time, but they got 10 days. And what if they don't come? Then I will be released from here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
All right. You have any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Well, that will conclude my presentation to you this morning. And thank you very much again, Deputy Ricania. See you soon.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.